Hi, I'm Natalie Swirsky.
I'm Andrew Swirsky, and we wanted to share with y'all a story about something we recently went through that was really difficult for our family, but we were really relieved because we didn't have to go through it alone.
When we found out we were pregnant, we were both really excited to start a new family and kind of head down the road of parenthood. I started doing research and decided to go more of an all-natural method of having a child.
It really started there. We were Father's Day morning, 2 or 3 in the morning, rushing to the hospital, excited for our first baby. 12 hours later, Natalie was still in labor and still pushing. And so at that point, we needed to get her to an emergency C-section. A few hours later, around 8 o'clock that night, we welcomed baby Jane into our arms. Perfectly healthy baby, really blessed for that. About 2 days in, Natalie was determined to have an infection. That drastically changed what we were doing at the hospital and the treatment at the hospital for Natalie.
It took a few days to figure out where the infection was. Once they figured out that it was where the C-section was, they were able to open everything back up and kind of keep an eye on it. And so at that point, we'd started reaching out to a few people. The doctor, who's a man of few words, basically looked at me and said, we needed to do another surgery. And so we prayed and I left for surgery, and I just decided that God was in control and I was going to be as happy and content as I could in between that point on. And so before I had Jane, and I was like 8 or 9 months pregnant, I kept praying for several things. And one of them, I kept praying that this birth would give glory to God. And so going through all that, I kept thinking, I don't want to bring glory to God because this is so hard. I'm not strong enough for it. But in the end, he brought glory to the whole situation. I think he helped bring glory through his people. There was a lot of times where you could see God doing little things, and those were like the most important times for me. And next thing I knew, after I started recovering from surgery a little bit, I was starting to get texts in and people were saying that they were praying for me, or emails. Some people called and they prayed with me out loud. We signed up to have people bring food to us every other day or so, and the list just filled up so quickly with different friends, but mostly people from Bethel, just wanting to help support us as we kind of get used to having a baby and me recovering from all of the surgeries. It's just really touching to see people, some people I didn't even know. I met them for the first time, or I'd seen them at Bethel, but we'd never really had many conversations, and to see them just show so much love and support, it was really, really touching to see all of that.
While Natalie was in the hospital and going through the daily struggles and trials of, are we gonna get a little bit better today? Are we gonna get a little bit worse? Which lasted almost 3 weeks. We were always connected to our Bethel family. They were praying for us the whole time. People came by and visited, and we could really see the impacts and powers of their prayers in action. And so what could have been not only a difficult time in our lives, but a lonely and isolated time, really turned into a blessing. I learned how great a community can be whenever you're going through something. So I'd encourage you, if you're not actively involved, here at Bethel or at your own church or in community groups and serving, it was a huge refresher to us for that community I've been a part of for years and years, served alongside, grown alongside. In my time of need and in Natalie's time of need, they were there and able to love on us because they knew us and they were connected with us. And I'd also encourage you, if you're able to, when needs come up, when a family's struggling, we had so many people that we barely knew that were able to reach out and love us. And it was such a blessing, no matter who it was, to reach out. They didn't have to be our best friend. They didn't have to be somebody we knew for 20 years. just had to be somebody who loved us, and it really made a big impact in our lives.